You're on.
We have not seen the last of Hillary Clinton. This election may be over, but Hillary Clinton is not over. But she will be over just as soon as God gets done with her. And in order to show you the fashion in which God does things, I want to take you to a place in the Bible, in the book of Esther, chapter 6. Haman had done everything he could to cause the destruction of a man named Mordecai. And he had built a gallows that he planned on hanging Mordecai on. Mordecai was the secret uncle of Queen Esther, who had been chosen from the Jewish people to be queen. And Haman had came in and he had stood in the outer court, and it was at night, and the Lord wouldn't let the king sleep. Ahasuerus, I think was his name. He wouldn't let King Ahasuerus sleep, and so he got up, and I guess it was hot. I think so. What the Bible said, it was hot, and he couldn't sleep. And he got up and he started, and he said, "Who is written in the book that has done the king a favor?" You know, the king was feeling good, so he wanted to do something good so he could feel better, but, you know, he'd fall asleep. And, you know, people with good hearts, they sleep better at night. And this king had a good heart. He chose Esther. He wasn't blind either. The Bible says she was a really good looking woman. And so, therefore, he said, "Who isn't written in the book that's done king a favor?" And guess what happened? Mordecai had been written in the book. This very one, who was like number 2 in the kingdom under King Ahasuerus, who was trying to kill Mordecai, who had done a favor. So the king says, "Who is in the outer chamber?" And they said, "Well, the Haman's out there, oh king." So he said, "Go get Haman and have him to come in." And he says, "Now Haman," he says, "what should it be done to the one who has pleased the king well?" And Haman, thinking that it was him, he says, "Well," he says, "Oh king," says, "you need to take your robe and put it on him, take your ring and put it on, and have him set on the king's mule, and have him paraded around the whole kingdom, saying, 'Look at this high and lifted up one, whom the king favors.'" Da 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 da. And the king says, "That's a good idea. Haman, take my mule and my robe and go and do all that you have said to Mordecai." I love that story. I love that story. And Haman was like, you know, and that's not in the Bible. I can just imagine. What? But he didn't, you know, I mean, in those days, man, you didn't fret the king, because you giving too much of that before the king, they'd take a spear, run right through you, and you'd be on your way, you know. Wouldn't have to worry about no gallows that you built. But, and this is what happened, so he done this. He was so upset, he went home and he told his wife and his friends what happened, and this is where the story takes up here, where I'm getting ready to read. Okay? And then the king, it's 6:10, Esther 6:10, said to Haman, "Make haste and take the apparel and the horse, and thou hast said, and do to Mordecai the Jew that sits in the king's gate, and let nothing fail of all thou hast spoken." Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, Thus shall it be done unto the man who the king delighteth to honor. Oh my goodness. I bet those words weren't very loud at all. Verse 12. Then Mordecai came to the king's gate, but Haman hasted excuse me, to his house mourning. He went to his house mourning, and having his head covered. And Haman told Zeresh his wife, and all his friends, everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men, and Zeresh his wife unto him. Now listen, here's God's personality. I'm getting ready to show you the secret personality of God. It's not a secret to us who know Him, but to you who don't know Him is a secret. I'm pulling back the veil, and I'm allowing you to peek in to the portals, to the throne room of God, and see just a little bit of the personality of Him who made us. Listen to this. And he said that, and his wise men and his wife said to him, If Mordecai be the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but it shall surely fall, but you shall surely fall before. It doesn't say you, but that's the implication there. But you shall surely fall, because over here before it says, whom thou hast begun to fall, shall surely fall before him. Amen. Okay. So, and verse 14, while they were yet talking with him, check this out. While they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains, and hastened to bring Haman into the banquet that Esther had prepared. And listen, you have to go read about how she prepared. She fasted 3 days before the Lord and for her people. And here comes the king and says, Haman, come to the ball that has been prepared. And this is where Hillary is heading. This is where Hillary Clinton is getting ready. We have not seen the last of Hillary. Hillary Clinton will be a big show. And I have prompted President Trump, with everything that I am, with all my little 2 cents worth, I have prompted President Trump to be heading in this, because if he does, it will give him great power and authority before the people. But if he does not, there's another statement in here that where Mordecai had said to Esther, if you don't go before us, you and your house will not be spared. You and your house will not be spared. President Trump will be president, but more than likely, this 4 years will be the only 4 years he gets. He'll be there for a little bit, and then he will fade away, and another will take his place. And another will take his place. Okay? So this is a prophecy that I'm saying here today, that just as sure as the sun came up this morning, all that I have expounded to you from God's Word will happen. Because, like I have said before, how the Lord has showed me that Hillary Clinton is the weed that God is going to pluck. He's doing this for His glory, to show His face, to show His power, to show His glory, to show His purpose. We're just the tools. I'm no different than Mordecai here. I get caught up in the whirlwind and get banged around, but God is the one who has the power to make things come out to where, you know, seeming like the tornado is going to rip down our house, but it doesn't touch us. It doesn't touch us. And we're so afraid. How many of us have been afraid of what's coming in America? Of if such and such people take over and such things happen. And as long as we stay before God, this thing will not touch us. You understand? As long as we stay before God, this thing will not touch us. Alright, God bless. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time. Another great message right here across in the middle ministry.